Hey everyone and welcome to the club. Today I'll be showing you how to draw Haxorus from Pokemon. I'm going to be drawing the character facing towards the left. So let's get started on the left side with the eye. I'm going to start on the top of the eyelid and just curve down and over towards the left. We're going to connect those 2 points with a little half circle. Going out towards the right and then back up towards the top. Let's layer in the iris and pupil in underneath this eyelid. Starting on the inside, we'll just circle around and then back in. And right in the middle here, we're just going to draw a tinier half circle for the pupil, and we'll color that in black. Let's go in and draw the ridge around the eye. So on the left side of the eye, we're just going to curve up above the eye towards the top. From here, I'm just going to circle around the bottom of the eye, coming down and then in. From this point on the left, I'm just going to curve over towards the beak. I'm going to curve up the profile of the head. So curving up. We're going to do a little bump at the top of the head, going upwards. Now we're going to curve towards the crown, going up towards the right, towards the top. From here, this curve along the top of the head, going across. And then from here, I'm just going to pull this in towards this little ridge line, curving out towards the right, and then back in. Let's go ahead and draw in the beak. So from this point, I'm going to step up, curve around towards the tip of the beak. From here, I just want to curve back, leaving a little gap just below that line. Curving across like this. Now I just want to connect those 2 points with a straight line. Right at the front here, I'm just going to draw in a little nostril, so just a little curve. I'm going to add a little bit of thickness towards the top of the head here. So we start at the point, and just taper along the side to right about here. And I'm just going to pull the short little line coming inwards. Now let's go in and draw in the 2 blades on the side of the face. So we're going to start with the one on the right side. So on the side of the curve here, we're just going to go up towards the top. We're going to step down towards this point and go in the opposite direction. Curving down and slightly over towards the left. I want to connect those 2 points with a curve, the edge of the blade. Starting from the top, pull the pen towards us, then down towards that point. So I want to add a little trim. So I'm going to take that curve and just duplicate it on the inside. Let's go ahead and draw the blade on the left side. So we're going to step over right here. We're going to curve up towards the top, kind of lining up the top. We're going to curve down almost to the same height as we have on the right side. We're going to curve the side of the blade, coming down to right about there. I'm going to pull this in behind the beak. Now let's add that little trim. So right up here, we're just going to curve along the side and then down. Right in this little gap here, I'm just going to draw in the bottom part of the jaw. So right here, I'm just going to curve down and pull this up in the opposite direction. I'm going to go back to the tip and just taper it up. Now let's go back to the top and draw in the back of the neck. So from this point, I'm going to step over towards the left and just curve across and then in behind the blade. I want to add a little bit of thickness to this edge here. So right up here, I'm just going to curve around and just kind of let it fade out. Now a little separation line, curving around and then in behind the blade. I'm going to go back into the eye and just color in the whites of the eye in black. So along the bottom and then along the top. Let's go back down here and work our way down the neck with the scales. So we start just below this blade here. Just going to curve it over. And I'm just going to draw the little profile edge going up towards the back of the neck. So this neck is going to continue on the side here. Starting down here, we're going to curve up and over. Now we're going to curve this up in the opposite direction. Curving up to right about there. I just want to line up with this curve. So I'm going to continue this curve in behind the blade towards that line. I'm going to go back to that same starting point and just curve down a little bit further for the second scale. Now we curve along the side, just following that same curve and then just pulling this over the top. Going up, I'm going to go up and then just pull this over towards the top, just above that point there. And we're going to curve this in the opposite direction, in behind the neck. Now I'm going to take this point and just follow that same curve just to create a little bit of thickness along the scale. So going around and then just let it vanish off there. We're going to draw one more scale. So about halfway along this curve, we're going to come down to another point in the center. We're going to work our way around the side of the neck. So from this point, we'll follow that same curve, and And we're just gonna stop right about there. So we're just imagining this nice little curve in the back of the neck. From this point, I just wanna curve up, and then we'll just curve it back over. Now from this point, I'm just gonna pull this in the opposite direction, in behind that middle scale. Again, from that center point, I just wanna follow this all the way down. And we'll just let it vanish off right there. Now that we got the head, let's work our way down the body. So the first thing I want to do is draw in the arm because it overlaps the body. So I'm going to start with the upper arm right in here. So in the shoulder, I'm going to curve around and then just pull that back. I'm going to go in the opposite direction now. Starting up here, we're going to curve around and then back. I'm going to draw in the little elbow joint. From this point, I want to curve up, overlapping that line, and then down. Let's connect those 2 points with a curve. Now I'm just going to go back up to the top and just finish off this little gap here. So this curve of this neck is going to go in behind the scales and in between the arm and the scales with a straight line like that. Let's move down and draw in the forearm. From this point, I just want to curve down and over. From this point, I'm going to go in the opposite direction, curving down. Now at the ends, I just want to pull these in, just rounding out the ends coming in towards the wrist. Let's connect those 2 points with a curve. Now from this point, I'm going to merge right in towards the first claw. So going around. On this side, I'll go in the opposite direction. I'm going to leave a little gap in the middle here. Now from this point, I just want to curve up. On this side, I'm going to curve up. We'll close off the gap with a straight line. Now I'm just going to separate the claws. From this point, I just want to curve over. Do the same thing on the right side. I'm going to add one more claw on the side here, just poking out. Just curving over. And then we'll taper that back in behind that claw. Now in behind the arm, we've got this big thigh. So we're going to start by drawing a big oval, sort of in a slight angle. So right up in here, we want to draw pretty big. So right on the side of the arm, curve around the hand. And we're just going to pull that down towards the bottom, leaving a gap. We're going to continue along the right side, curving down and then in. From these 2 points, we're going to draw on the ankle, curving in and down. Do that on both sides. Now we're going to draw on the sides of the claw. So from this point, I want to step in and just curve over. Do the same thing on the right side. Now we're going to pull these in. From this point, we'll curve inwards. On this side, we'll do the same thing. Now I'm going to draw one center claw here. So from this point, I just want to overlap this, curving it down. Now we're going to curve up, intersecting that line. And I'm just going to pull it up slightly. Let's separate the claws. Right here, I'm just going to curve the middle claw, and then on the side. Now with this back line going in behind the arm, it's going to continue right here. So we're just going to curve it over towards the right. Let's add a little bit of detail on the thigh. So right up here, I'm just going to curve around. It's almost like a little half oval, going in behind the hand and towards the side of the leg. We'll create some little separation lines, a little curve going across, maybe one more up here. Now that we have the arm and the leg, we can layer the body in behind. So we're going to start on the side of the scale right here, curve around the chest, coming down to there. From this point, I just want to curve the bottom of the belly going in behind the leg. Going out, and we'll just pull that in behind the leg. We're going to add a little trim on the side. So right up here, lined up with this point on the left, I'm going to curve down and out. I'm going to curve around the thigh and just blend in towards the side. From this point, I'm going to draw the bottom line of the chest, going across, and then I'm going to pull this up towards that point there. Let's add a little belly patch. So on the side, I'm just going to go up and then down on the side, almost like a half oval. And then at the bottom, we're just going to draw a little curve from left to right. Now let's go in and layer the left leg in behind the body. So we're going to line up the top of the thigh, so right here, curve out towards the left, and then we're just going to pull that in. I'm going to leave a gap and draw in a little curve going in behind the body. Now from that point, I just want to draw a little trim. We're just going to circle around and then back in behind the body. I want to add that little trim line just like we did on the right side. So right here, we're just going to curve behind. We'll add some lines going across and one on the top. Now we're going to continue down with the leg. From this point, I just want to curve in and then down. at the bottom of this curve, I'm going to curve down. I'm going to draw in the claws. Here I'm just going to curve over. On this side I want to curve in. Now we're going to layer the second finger on top here. So from this point I'm going to curve back. We're going to overlap that line, stepping up. We'll curve the second claw going over like this. We're going to connect those 2 points with a curve to create the claws. Now we're just going to separate the claw, little curve, and then one on the inside in the opposite direction. Now we can work the left arm in behind the body here. So let's start with the upper arm first. So lining up the shoulder, curve down and over towards the left. I'm going to round out the elbow. From here, I'm going to curve it in and then down. Now we're going to draw on the bottom part of the arm, just curving in behind the body. From those 2 points, we sort of round them out. Just the elbow joint. I'm going to overlap those 2 points with another curve. So stepping out, just overlapping them. We're going to round this out, pull it in, and then back out towards the wrist. So rounding this out, in, and out. Go in, and then out. We're going to round out the wrist. Now we're going to connect those 2 points with a curve. Draw a little simple claw in here. So from this point, I'm going to round this out, just like we did on this side. On the inside, we'll curve in the opposite direction. I'm going to take those 2 points and curve in towards the center point. In, down on the right side. Right in the middle here, I'm going to draw another claw. Coming down, we'll just pull that back up. We want to separate the claws. Little curve. In the back behind the arm here, there's one more scale. So I'm going to start right here on the side of this scale, curving back. We're curving the opposite direction behind the body. Then from this point, I'm going to curve in behind the body like that. The final thing, we're going to add the tail. So we're going to swoop the tail up and then just pull it over towards the right. So we're going to start by taking this curve of the body and then continuing up. And then we'll just pull that over towards the right side. Now from this point, I just want to make the tail thicker as we come back in behind the body. Starting at the tip, go thick, pulling that down. Now we're going to curve that back in behind the leg. Let's add some lines in the tail. So down here, we're just going to curve. I'm going to curve that back in, almost doing a little S wave, going down to the bottom of the tail. Do that one more time. So up here, curve in, draw a little wave, curving in, out, and then down towards the bottom of the tail. We'll add one little tip, curving in, we'll curve in the opposite direction towards the side of the tail, and that's pretty much it. There we have it. There's Haxorus from Pokemon. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Make sure you check out our Pokemon playlist. We add a new character every Tuesday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.